So let's put the Prophet in a nutshell now, and the celebration today of Yawm Un Nabi, the birth anniversary of the Holy Prophet Muhammad.
Yawm Un Nabi, the celebrating the birth of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is not like how we celebrate our birthdays. The celebration is totally different. It's a kind of spiritual awakening. It's a kind of showing respect and honor to Rasulullah, the one who brought us like this. Normally what we do, we go to our Islamic centers or masjid, wherever the program is organized. We recite the Holy Quran, the Book of Allah, and also we talk about the lifestyle of Rasulullah, and also the Islamic history, and also we talk about what the present situation of the Muslims and how they should be, how they are, how they should be. So
Which
it's
is
a kind of
something that he
revolutionary
looked at,
thing, reforming in our society. So what we are now, we have to compare our present situation with the situation in the time of Rasulullah, how he liked Muslim to be. So now, if we are different than that, so we need to reform, we need to change. So that's really we discuss in those functions in the Yawm Un Nabi, in the day of Yawm Un Nabi, in this day. So normally, and also we conclude with ta'zim and the honoring Rasulullah with chanting qasida, and different poets, they wrote different things, their emotions, their feelings about the Rasulullah, because this man changed entire mentality of the more than 1 billion people across the world. Within 23 years, 13 years in Mecca and 10 years in Medina, he led the foundation of Islamic government in Medina, and he taught them how to live a best life in this world, as well as thinking of the world in hereafter. Because we don't have only materialism, we have spirituality. We don't live in this world forever. We have to go back to another world, which is for what we believe, according to what we believe, that world is eternal world. So we need to answer what we do here. So he taught us, not only Muslims, but this is a real confusion in our mentality, that people call this Quran as a Muslim book. I don't believe that. Quran is not a Muslim book. Quran is a book revealed by a creator who created Muslims as well as non-Muslims. And in most of the books, in most of the verses of the Holy Book, we have Ya Ayyuhan Nas, Ya Ayyuhan Nas, meaning oh the people, not talking about oh Muslims, talking about oh people, come to this way. Don't do that, do this. So it's a Hudan Lin Nas, the Holy Book describing itself as Hudan Linnas, the guidance for mankind. Okay. It's not just Muslims, a guidance for mankind. So I use this opportunity to recommend my all listeners that randomly they can go to the Quran, open the book, just go through with few lines. If you're feeling something that's speaking to you, continue it.
Well, listeners, there's a challenge for you. Thank you so very much. But
and now I want to say, as the Quran is the book of Allah and book for all mankind, the Rasulullah is also the prophet and the guide for all mankind, not only for Muslims. So in Quran itself describe وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We sent thee not but as a mercy for all creatures, so for all mankind. So he is the one who وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا مُبَشِّرًا وَنَذِيرًا. But we only sent to give glad tidings and admonition. So for all, it's not only for Muslims. كَافَّةً لِلنَّاسِ, it is mentioned in the Quran, for entire mankind. So as we should not confine the Quran as a book of Muslims, Muslim book, we should not confine the personality of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a prophet of Muslims. No, he is the prophet for entire mankind. So everybody can take advantage of his teachings.
In your opinion, the Quran is a people's book. It's
God's book.
It's God's book for the people.
For the people, to guide the people.
Okay. All right.
And Prophet Muhammad is a messenger from the God, by the God, for the people, to guide the people.
Okay.
That's how it's a link between the God and the people.
Okay. How did he die? And at what age?
Yeah, he was 63.
63.
Yeah, while he was in Medina, he passed away, and he did entire in his life. He was not just being sitting at the corner. He had a enthusiastic way to awaken the society. So he traveled across, and he himself involved in some of the battlefields imposed against him. So he defending the Muslims at that time. There were enemies who even within the Muslim community we call them hypocrites. Being a Muslim, they trouble him a lot. So because of all these trials, normally a body up to what extent it can resist.
It can wear you down.
Definitely. So he
Yes.
passed away while at the age of 63.
Okay.
So now we have different dates. At that time, we had no Islamic lunar calendar set up. So after his departure, we set up the calendar in early in the age of the Khulafats, Caliphates, right? But we have lots of difference on the date when he born and when he passed away. That's not a matter.
No.
We can celebrate entire year as
Its teachings,
its
are
teachings
whatever
and
important.
wisdom words. That's the main purpose. That's why we have the two difference major difference of opinion. 12th of Rabiul Awwal, which is tomorrow, which is today, and 17th of Rabiul Awwal is also mentioned. So we recently the great leader of Islamic Revolution of Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini, you heard his name. So he declared this whole week from 12 to 17 as a unity week. So though we have difference of opinion on his birth, so it's better for Muslims to celebrate whole week as a unity week, so we can
If
take benefit
everybody's
of it.
got to fit into that week
Yes.
somehow.
And in some countries like India and Pakistan, if you go, the people will celebrate entire month honoring Rasulullah because of the huge population. It's not, because every center want to organize someone. So if our people can't go in all centers each day. So they, in one day, so they organize in whole month different places in different methods. So
everybody
people will
gets to-
enjoy
yes.
listening to the teachings of Rasulullah.
Okay, so he never went back to Mecca.
Once he went to perform the Umrah, but end up with the kuffar, the pagans, those who were there in Mecca. They refused, but he had a truce and treaty with them, treaty of peace, and he returned back, not enter Mecca. But they broke the treaty, the truce, and then after they broke the treaty, and most of the Meccans, they embrace Islam. So Mecca is no more in the hands of kuffar, the enemies of Rasulullah. So he entered and performed Hajj.
Okay.
And, first he entered and conquered Mecca, right? And on 7th Hijrah, 7th year after migration. And last year, like 10th year after migration, he performed Hajj. That was the first and last Hajj he performed. So in that Hajj, he portrayed how to perform the Hajj and everything, and he delivered a very important sermon. In that sermon, he mentioned that I very closely, very shortly, I'm going to depart from this world. So it seems he was informed that he had to return back to Allah. So after a few days, he passed away after returning to Medina.
Okay.
Yeah, that was his
Well,
life.
thank you so very much, Maulana. And there we have it, the story, how it all came together. And that's why we are celebrating Yom Nabi today with our Muslim brothers and sisters, the birth anniversary of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Good. Well, now the spotlight turns to you, Maulana, and your arrival here from Bangalore, India.
In fact, I read few books about the migration of Indians to Guyana and West Indies. So I had a little bit interest about this region. So some of our friends, they somehow, what I believe in my life, whatever I did or whatever I'm going to do and I'm doing, it seems there is a hand pushing me, which is not unseen hand, I can call it. Somehow my program sometimes fix without expectation. Like I was in London in this Muharram 2 months ago, delivering few lectures there in Urdu language for Indians and Pakistanis, those who were there. suddenly a person came and he said, we want you to have in Kuwait for 10 days. So I said, okay, the program fixed. Wherever I go, somehow the further program is going to fix.
So there's going to be some divine intervention somewhere.
Somehow I feel that there is a spiritual hand pushing me ahead. So I'm happy with that. I don't believe. The main focus is that wherever I am and however I am, I have to be submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And because I studied around 11 years the Islamic teachings after secondary education, so I have to serve. We have a beautiful hadith which says, Zakatul ilm nashruhu, meaning charity of the knowledge is spreading out of that knowledge. So once I bless with something, I have to share with others. So that's how I'm doing it. So Alhamdulillah, wherever I went, I found people receptive, I found people cooperative, and Alhamdulillah here also in Guyana, during this around 6 years, I met the President Bharat Jagdev, I met the President Donald Ramatar, and I met most of the ministers like Brother Irfan Ali, Minister Robert Prasad, Leslie Ramaswamy, and all these ministers, everybody, I found them receptive and very, and Alhamdulillah, when I was here, I was not expecting that much receptive. People here, I found this Guyana as my hometown. So I find everything like how I was finding in Bangalore, in terms of fruits and vegetables, whatever. The weather is much good, mashallah. Throughout the year, you don't face any difficulty in terms of weather. And people, mashallah, I don't face any problem. Wherever I go, I find people receptive, whether from Muslims, even I went to the non-Muslims functions and delivered some speeches and lectures, and Alhamdulillah, I have receptive people here. So I don't know tomorrow where I'm going, but wherever, what I pray, that wherever I have to be, I have to be submitting towards the deen and the religion, and fulfilling my duties and responsibilities. That's what I can say.
Thank you. All right, any other part in general comments you want to say?
I want to say one thing, that while we are celebrating the Yawm An Nabi, we need to think and ponder about what we are doing. Are we just with the Rasulullah and his teachings and his Quran, or just we are carrying the label? That's the most important thing. That is the best opportunity for all of us to revive ourselves, to ponder about our actions. And we need to, this is the inheritance by Rasulullah, the Prophet Muhammad, in our hands. This is a trust. We need to pass this trust to future generation. So each action will affect, like we see some of the Muslims, they do some little wrong things, and now they carry the name of the whole entire Islam as a bad name. Like wherever we go, sometimes we say, if they see the Muslim, they see the terrorist. So this is not like that. So some people, they do something wrong, and the whole name of the religion and name of the Muslims. One bad apple, we say in English, spoils the whole. But I want to say to the other people also, those who call Muslims terrorists, that if a Christian do something wrong, to whom you have to blame? Christian or the Christianity? If a Hindu do something wrong, you have to blame to whom? The Hindu or the Hinduism? Similarly, if a Muslim do something wrong, we have to blame that particular guy, not the Islam, not the religion. If you go back to the teachings of the religion, that's peace, that's something likable, something we can promote, something liked by everyone. But if any person do something wrong, we have to blame that particular person, not the whole religion. That's my message for today.
Thank you so very much. We've been talking with Maulana Syed Mohammed at Tasdeeq, and he is from Bangalore, India, and it's all about Yawm An Nabi and the celebrations today. Our technical operator has been Tremaine Clark. I'm Andrea saying thank you so very much for joining us today.
Oh Allah, send abundant peace and blessings on Muhammad, who is your best beloved prophet from all of creation. Oh Allah, send abundant peace and blessings on